1 second. Alrighty. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since I went on live stream. How you doing, Ro? How you doing, Zainab? How you doing? Is it Jakarta? Apologies for mispronouncing your name. Hello, Sonic fan. Hello there. Hello, Black Dondar. How's everyone doing? Hello, yeah, how you doing, man? Hello, Nayo. Hello, Sanjana. Welcome, everyone. Just let me know if the stream's quality is good. Like, can you hear me? Is the camera quality good? Is the music too loud? You know, just let me know so I can adjust and arrange things. How you doing, Jay, man? I'm doing well. Decided to go live today. I haven't been on live stream for a long time, to be honest. So yeah, but I hope you're doing well. You can hear me? All right, lovely. That's good. That's what I want to know. Alrighty. Once again, today's stream is just like any other stream. So we're gonna be giving each other advice, talking about different topics. Doesn't even have to be a specific topic. Just anything. You know, how's your day? Are you struggling with something? Would you want to talk about it? And so on. You don't hear the music? Okay, hold on. Let me try and put that up a little bit. Let me know if it's good now. Alright, you should be able to hear it. There we go. Alright. Although I don't know why my camera is a bit bad. Give me a second. Let's do that. Highest. Alright. There we go. Out of all people, I can't believe you went live. Yeah, so it's funny because before Sage, you know, became my content, I used to go live every single Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays in the beginning of this year, and I had such a small audience in the aspect of live streams, to the point where I knew everyone's name. I would expect certain people to be in the live stream, and yeah, it was great, man. You know, I miss those days, genuinely. My camera is a bit laggy for some reason. Alright, there we go. Alright, I think that should be good. Not sure why that happened. Today's 1 year ago I got cheated on, so it's a day of mourning and reflect, but I'm actually quite... Oh, that's good to hear. Well, it's not good to hear that you got cheated on, but it's good to hear that you're reflecting on it, you know, and you're managing. Getting cheated on is a strange experience. It's this experience that one can't explain. One has to feel to experience, to understand how painful it really is. But you know, I'm glad that you're reflecting on it, and you know, perhaps learning lessons and understanding where you went wrong, and understanding how you can adapt, and understanding the mistakes of your ex-partner, and overall just understanding the relationship. You know. Master Sage himself. How you doing, man? you have a, hold on, you have such a, I'm guessing that's going to say nice. It could also mean bad, but I'm going to take it as a compliment. And thank you, man. I appreciate that, genuinely. Is it fine to call, hold on, is it fine if I call you Sage? Of course. Yeah, you can call me Sage. Good memories never fade. Well said, man. How would you manage criticism? That's a good question. I think when it comes to criticism, we always, majority of the time, just take it to heart. You know, our ego takes a hit because we don't want to be told what to do. We don't want to be told, oh, that is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. You should stop doing it. You should do it this way. To us, that feels patronizing in some aspect. But what I've come to learn is viewing criticism in a constructive way actually helps a lot. Having the desire to learn and having the urge to actually learn rather than taking things to heart and allowing your ego to, you know, in a sense, protect you in that aspect. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is learn to view criticism in a constructive way, so that way you can actually improve and you know, work on those areas that someone is telling you to work on. And let's just say, for example, the criticism that someone is giving you isn't necessarily what you think is true. You may disagree with the criticism, and that's totally understandable. And in those situations where you disagree with the criticism, it's important to first reflect on if it's true or not. And once you've identified that it's not true, then you just simply thank them for the criticism and move on. Let me quickly fix this camera once again. It keeps lagging for some reason. I think it's because... Alright, let me see now. Should work now. That's default. Alright. Flip vertically. Okay, that should be fine. I mean, okay, should be fine now. How do you deal, how to deal with socially awkward moments? I overthink a lot about it and always make my day worse. Now, I always, you know, mention Seneca's quote anytime I am, you know, encountered with social anxiety and, you know, situations of social anxiety. I always remind myself that we often suffer more in our minds than in reality. So we suffer more in our imagination, in our minds, creating fake scenarios, you know, believing these fake scenarios, believing that they're going to happen, rather than actually looking at reality and saying, okay, this hasn't happened yet. Why am I worrying so much? Right? So first identify that what you're essentially overthinking about is not necessarily guaranteed to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. It's simply in your mind. Now, when it comes to social awkwardness or social anxiety, right? Majority of the time it comes from inexperience in social interactions and situations. And so in order to, I suppose, improve your social awkwardness or your social anxiety, you must push yourself into being a bit social, putting yourself in social situations, interacting with people. Even if you screw up and make mistakes, it doesn't really matter, as long as you initiate some aspect of socializing. That's where growth lies, in a sense. Does that make sense? Do you know the 12 laws of the universe? I do not. What are the 12 laws of the universe? How does one handle a situation where I'm indifferent, yet she shared, she has a sugar daddy and it's transactional, but she uses that money to take care of me and it's authentic? So when you say indifferent, what are you indifferent to? How would you go about the void, no vacant, no empty, no nihilistic kind of way of living? You see, it's very easy to fall into the nihilistic perspective or mindset. It's very easy. Perhaps that's because maybe, nihilistic point of view is true in some aspect. Who knows? I'm not saying it is true. But perhaps... One second, let me change this camera once more. Alright, there we go. I don't know why. I need to fix that later. Anyways, what I like to do, I don't know if it's going to work for you, but what I like to do is I like to turn to the existential perspective, the philosophy of existentialism. Sure, life may not have inherent meaning. It may not have objective meaning that we can all abide by. But that doesn't mean we can't create meaning for ourselves. That doesn't mean there isn't subjective meaning in life. And perhaps you can focus on that as well. Perhaps you can focus on creating that subjective meaning, whatever that may be. And you create meaning in life by experiencing, by reflecting, by gaining knowledge and adapting in a sense, but mainly experiencing. And experimentation, obviously, is another one. Experimenting with certain experiences or certain jobs, certain relationships, certain careers, and so on. Just experiencing and experimenting. I have a bad habit of lying many times so that things can happen as soon as possible. It's like I keep trying to pay no attention to it and make the other person do that too. Interesting. Could you tell me more about that? Because I'm actually interested in that. So you said, I lie many times because you want things to happen as soon as possible. What does that look like? Could you give me an example of that? I want to talk about this. I kind of over-exaggerate myself when I'm excited or tend to lose my calm. Can you give me advice on this? So I have a question back to you in regards to that. Why do you think you over-exaggerate yourself, and why do you think you tend to lose your calmness? What do you think is causing that? Let me see. Indifferent as in like to enjoy when she's here and not have any emotional reaction when she does to do her thing. She lets me know and okay. So when she does do her thing, according to you, how do you feel? What happens to you internally or emotionally, let's just say? Just reset this every time it bugs out, I suppose. I just spilled my water. How do you never run out of content, Sage? I mean, there are times where I'm in a perpetual state of creative block, let's just say, where I'm just sitting there and I'm not really getting any of the ideas. And in those moments where I struggle to get ideas, I simply stop trying to get ideas. I go outside, take a break. If I need to walk outside, I'll go walk outside. Spend time with my brother or just anything else. And randomly, or even when I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm not really thinking about content, ideas just come into my mind, and I write a little mental note of the content, and then once I'm done brushing my teeth, I go back to my desk and I write it all down and I script the video and animate it and so on. So it's very fluctuant, let's just call it. I'm not always ready with content, because after some time, after you post a certain amount of videos, you hit a creative block, right? Or a writer's block if you're writing. And I think it's important to just not force ideas. Wait, let me talk. Okay, there we go. All right, let me see here. So, Law of divine oneness. Everything in the universe is connected and part of a single unified source. Okay. Law of vibration. Everything is in a state of constant motion and vibration. What you focus on is what you attract. Okay, fair enough. Law of cause and effect. Every action, cause, has an equal opposite reaction, effect. Your thoughts, words, and deeds create ripples that shape your future. Fair enough. I'm going to read the other comments as well. Let me just quickly read the laws of the universe. Law of correspondence. I think I've seen most of these actually, yeah. Law of correspondence. Patterns repeat themselves throughout the universe, both on a micro and a macro level. Your outer world reflects your inner world. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy is constantly transforming from one form to another. You can change the energy around you by changing your own internal state. Law of attraction. I'm guessing most of us are familiar with the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, according to this individual, is like attracts like. By focusing on positive thoughts and feelings, you attract positive experiences. Interesting. Let me see the other ones. Where was the other one? Where was I? Oh, law of inspired action. You must take action on your goals and dreams. Your actions should be guided by your intuition and aligned with your desires. Law of relativity. Everything is relative and interconnected. Your problems are rarely as bad as they seem when viewed in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Law of rhythm. Everything in the universe follows a rhythm of cycle, just like seasons. Let me quickly fix my camera once more before I read the rest of that. I think that was the last one. Yeah, there we go. Law of polarity. Everything has an opposite or counterpart, like hot and cold or light and dark. Interesting. I've definitely heard most of these before. I just needed some. I needed something to jog my memory. So yeah, I do know most of these. That's interesting, regardless, though. And I'm curious to know. I'm guessing most of these, if not some of these, are proven by science in some aspect, but majority of them are abstract concepts, which there's nothing wrong with, but they are very interesting. All right, let me go back to the chat. Hold on, Sage. When you get more reach to your content, then buy YouTube, and then please allow to use. Yeah, I mean, I might need to, man. Genuinely, there's no gifts on YouTube. It's a shame. They should release something like that in live streams where you can just send a GIF into the chat. Can love exist without power, or is power just love without weakness? Can love exist without power? That's a good question. Can love exist without power, or is power just love without weakness? I'm gonna get back to that. Let me think about it for a second. Yeah, let me think about it. All right. Hello, Sabi. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I'm excited because we're back live streaming. You know, I haven't done one in a few weeks, if I'm being honest. Seems like the camera's gone weird again. 1 second. You might even see the top of my monitor. I forgot to adjust the camera, but that's fine. There we go. Hold on, let me see this. How do you feel when people like your friends and your family ask about your reels and lives? I mean, majority of my friends and family just compliment my content, and they're amazed to see the progress, and I'm grateful for that, to be honest. It's interesting because some of my friends were questioning they were questioning my initiation of making content. They were like, "What? You're making content?" They wished me luck, they said good luck and everything, but they didn't really have that belief that it's going to get somewhere. And to be honest, I don't blame them, because content creation is very, very difficult. Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, is this really gonna work? Who am I to be getting an audience and making content for people to enjoy? But I guess social media has proved me wrong. And it proved me wrong in the aspect that anyone deserves a voice, right? It's just a matter of, do you want it? Do you want to make a name for yourself and share knowledge and share value, or provide value to people? I think that's the most important one. When you're making content, make sure you're focusing on providing value to the audience, and that way not only are you rewarded for your efforts, but people are also rewarded for watching your content, because they get value from it. How you doing, Ash? It's good to see you. I see a lot of familiar faces here, which is good to see, genuinely. I feel wise just being here. That's good to know, genuinely. I'm well, Messenger. Glad to see you're back on live streams. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, genuinely. I'm glad as well, to be honest. I'm trying to make this more consistent. And the only reason why I slowed down with the live streams is because of my schedule. It's been very, very hectic. But yeah. The Batman glass, yes, here it is. I wonder who gifted me this, by the way. Whoever it was, genuinely, I appreciate every single one of you. How do you cope with death? My philosophy is to believe whatever makes you comfortable isn't death. It's one of the only things guaranteed in life you can't control outside yourself. Yeah, I definitely agree with that last part. Death is inevitable, unless we come up with some sort of invention that prevents us from dying and become immortal. But I wouldn't want to be immortal, to be honest. I would rather die. And I know that's very, dark, but I think there's value in being mortal. At some point, let's just say you are immortal, right? After some time, after losing all your loved ones and your friends and so on, after experiencing all that you have to, life gets boring and you start to lose the meaning to exist, and you start to devalue life. It becomes worthless in a sense. So I would want to die. But to answer your question, I think even, let's say you are afraid of death, whether you're afraid of death or not, you're going to die. And I think Epicurus said this himself as well. The fear of death, in a sense, is pretty much useless. It's understandable, don't get me wrong. It's definitely understandable to fear death because you don't know what's on the other side, and you don't want to stop living. You know, you want to do so many different things. But in a sense, the fear of death doesn't necessarily benefit you in any way. In fact, it makes things worse. So I tend to remind myself that whether I'm afraid to die or not, I'm still going to die. And don't get me wrong, I do fear dying in a sense. But not entirely, you know. Oh my, the resolution. All right. Your reels got me levitating in the room. Huh. See, that's what I want to hear. That's my aim. To make you levitate. Your art is art, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hold on. How do I know when to stop trusting someone? Let's say someone has broken your trust the first time, right? I don't know. Let's say they betrayed you and you forgave them, right? And they told you, okay, I'm not going to do that again. That was very silly of me. That was a mistake. I'm going to behave. And some time passes by and they seem to do the same things over and over again, consistently. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you see a pattern in their actions, them, you know, doing the same mistakes or, you know, breaking your trust every single time, then perhaps it's best not to trust that person anymore, you know? The first time, I understand, you know, they make a mistake, whatnot. But if it's repeated, then that's a choice. They don't want to change. I want to study but can't focus. I keep scrolling Instagram and can't resist. Exams are near but I struggle to concentrate. I think it's dopamine overload. Please help me fix this. So, what I'd like to do, if I'm ever studying or if I'm ever working or whatnot, is I like to put my phone as far as possible, away from reach. That way, I would have to put in effort to get the phone back so I can scroll on Instagram. So what I'd advise you do is put your phone in a different room, out of sight, out of mind, okay? And that way, you have the thought in mind that, my phone is in another room. I don't really want to get up and get it because I just can't be arsed. And that essentially makes you focus on the work. It makes your mind focus on the work because your mind wants to focus on something, right? It doesn't matter what it focuses on, as long as it's something, then happy days. So yeah. Epicurus once said, when I'm around, death isn't around, and when... Yes, I love this quote. It's one of my favorites. It's something on the lines of, when I'm alive, death is not around, and when I'm dead, something like that. But yeah, I definitely know what quote you're talking about. Can you tell me details of your Minecraft server? I'm not level 10, so I don't have access. Yes, I can. Let me quickly just fix this resolution one more time. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so it's the current wipe that is online right now is a vanilla server. So meaning it's just a normal Minecraft game. You can do what you want, I guess. You can build what you want. You can defeat the Ender Dragon. You know, you can survive. There used to be a shop feature that I'm currently working on fixing, trying to make it better. So that way, you know, before it used to be going to an NPC and buying whatever you want to buy and selling what you want to sell. But now I want to change it so that people can just access it through their GUI. Or in other words, you know, the inventory box thing that you press E to access. I would want people to access the shop via that way. So yeah. I guess that I hope that gave you some insight on the server. If a person breaks your trust for fun, should that person be trusted? That's a good question, actually. I wouldn't say so, no. If someone is breaking your trust for entertainment purposes, then it's best not to interact with that individual. Your live streams act like a therapy session for me. What is the frequency of your live streams? To be honest, I have no idea. But I'm glad that it is giving you that type of vibe. Speak on not fitting in. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to. What about it? Would you like me to talk about it? Are you in a religion? Not really. Some could call me agnostic, right? I'm still thinking about it. Because it is a very interesting question. It's a very difficult question to think about, the existence of a God. And we don't really have much knowledge on it. We're still figuring it out. And I don't want to make a conclusion just yet. And I understand beliefs and faiths, and that's totally fine. You can, I have nothing against believing in God, right? I totally understand that. In a relationship, if you see a problem, how do you know if you need to communicate it with your partner and solve it together, or just let go of them? Well, I mean, it depends on the problem, but majority of the time, if it's bothering you, right? If it genuinely is bothering you, talk about it. Talk to your partner about it. Don't bottle it up and don't, hide it from them in any way. Just as soon as it's bothering you, talk to them about it. And that way you can gain their perspective and their insight on the problem. And from there you can, I suppose, act accordingly. The camera's gone again. Goodness me. Alright. I should be back now. Alright, there we go. I always wanted to ask you this. Was there a specific event for you that brought on such a mindset onto you? 100%, yeah. I think the main one has to be when I started meditating. Meditation has, I always say this, but meditation has always changed my life. And that's for the better, to be honest. I think it's improved my self-awareness and understanding. It has made me more empathetic in a sense. Although I was empathetic before. But yeah, I definitely say meditation has changed my life. Along other things as well. I think previous relationships and certain experiences, like, I don't know, interacting with certain people, certain difficult people, and it just molded my mindset, I suppose. Do you believe in love after love? I do, yeah. I think a person can love someone after loving someone before that person, if that makes sense. The only difference would be they won't be able to love them the same way right? So let's say as an example, someone has an ex-partner and they love them in a romantic way or affectionate way. I don't know what type of way they can, but let's just say for the sake of the example, they love them in a certain way. And let's say they went into a new relationship. They won't be able to love the person in the exact same way as they did the ex-partner. But that doesn't necessarily mean the love that they have for this new person is going to be less than what it was for the ex-partner. Is it bad when someone tells you something and then you keep making points but forgot to ask them questions? So it is self-centered? I mean, I think the intention of it matters. So if you're intentionally being self-centered, yeah, it could be bad. But if you're not aware of you know, talking mainly about yourself and making points specifically, making more points about the situation and not asking them questions, then that's not necessarily bad. I suppose the intention and the awareness matters. I feel loneliness, but I've been trying this thing called rejection/exposure therapy where you purposely try to get rejected. Interesting. And how's that working out for you? Is it working? Is it not working? Okay, let me give me 1 second. It might just be my connection. All right. How do you meditate genuinely? Great question. So, meditation is all about focusing your awareness in the present moment. So, the best way I can explain this to you is as follows. You sit down in a quiet room, you close your eyes, and your mind is going to start thinking. It's going to start drifting from thought to thought. It's going to jump from left to right, etc. And what you should do, and what your focus is focusing on something that's present. Now, you might be saying, what are you talking about? When I say something present, I mean something that's happening right now. It's not happening yesterday, it's not happening tomorrow, it's happening right now. And so one thing that happens right now is you're breathing. You're breathing now. You're not breathing yesterday, you're breathing right now. And so what you should do is focus your awareness, your attention on your breathing without necessarily forcing it. Don't force it. Let your breathing come naturally. All you should do is just focus on it. And every time your mind drifts away, as it will, because it gets bored, slowly but gradually drift your awareness back to your breathing. And I suppose every time you bring your awareness back to your breathing, you can count that as 1 rep. And you can do this however long you want. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, I don't know, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Before, I used to do 45 minutes every single day. But because of my schedule, I have dropped it down to 10 minutes. And it still feels amazing, to be honest. Why is your character named Sage? My friend's name was Sage. I'm Muslim, but I really don't believe in religion, but can't say it to my parents, and also the people around me ask questions about my religion while I can't say anything to them. How to deal with it? Yeah, that's a very sticky situation, if I'm being honest. Because I know how majority, not all of them, but I know how majority of Muslim parents are. Majority of them are conservative. And to hear their child questioning if they believe in their religion, it can be heartbreaking, you know. I guess the best thing to do is, I mean, I don't really know what the consequences of telling them would be, so I can't really give you my perspective on it. Although, if you do think that the consequences of you telling your parents that you don't believe in a religion is bad, then I suppose the best thing to do is to not say anything. You know? I want to stay quiet and have private life, but I get too much annoyed when I sit alone when others sit in front of me when I talk, since I was very talkative from young age. So any solution to fix it? So let me quickly try and understand what you said here. You want to stay quiet and have a private life, but get too annoyed when you sit alone and when you sit with other people in front of you. And you're very talkative ever since a young age. Okay. So are you annoyed at the fact that you're very talkative, or the fact that other people talk to you? What are you annoyed about specifically? Sage looks too much like Sage. How can I strengthen my mind to accept what I can't control? I was doing great with it, but now it's like challenging. Okay, so what do you think changed? What do you think changed from you being able to control your, accepting what you can't control, for it to now be challenging? Wait, let me... Alright, that's fine. What would you have named your children if you had any? Oh, that's a good question. I never really thought about it, to be honest. It would be funny if I named my child Sage, because Sage is a unisex name, so it can be applied for both men and women. So it would be funny if I named my child Sage, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. That's a good question. I'll have to think about it. And then I'll get back to you through private DMs if I ever do. How to be confident while making decisions. I feel scared. Hold on. What if things go wrong after taking the decision? People usually say go with the flow like water, but sometimes I feel like I need to take action. So the thing is, you're saying what if it all goes wrong, but what if it all goes right? You see, it can go both ways. And so focusing on the negative is going to make you think the negative is going to happen, and vice versa. But what you should do instead is actually just jump, in terms of just take the action, leap forward, you know? Jump into the unknown, jump into the void. Does that make sense? So whenever you feel scared to do something, I think that's when you should do it, you know? There's no better time than doing it when you're scared. Not Turkish. I would definitely consider naming my child a Turkish name, 100%. I just don't know which one. So I have to think about it. I'll send you a list, don't worry. To what extent should one be willing to sacrifice time, leisure, and possessions for the sake of personal improvement and future success? Like, at what point are you treating the line of it being worth or not. I think there has to be a balance, and I understand there's this hustle culture that's trending right now. If you're not hustling in the gym and making X amount of money, then you're not living right and stuff like that. All of that is just meh. It makes you feel like you can't enjoy leisure, or you can't play games, and you can't have fun. I think when you take life too seriously, you miss the beauty of it. When you're just focused on making, improving yourself every single day, then it just becomes problematic. And I understand you wanna improve your day, you want to improve your life now so you can enjoy the leisure later, and that's understandable. Delaying gratification, in a sense, is I think is great. But I think, to answer your question, if your possessions, if your leisure or pleasure, if it's taken a lot of your time, if it's consuming you in some way, then perhaps it's best to just limit the exposure to it. But I think there has to be a balance. I think your personal improvement and your career, your success should be your main priority. And I also think that you should have time to enjoy yourself and, play games and, watch TV shows and eat pizza and so on. And I'm speaking from experience, by the way. Obviously, I prioritize my work. Every single day I spend about 9-10 hours, even 12, sometimes 12 hours, just working. And sometimes it gets very daunting and tiring to just work all the time. And that's why I've implemented something. I've implemented days where I just take a break. And when I say days, I just mean one day. So on a Sundays, I just relax. I don't really work that much. I just relax, check my server, as a way of just calming down, What is your go-to breakfast / lunch? So basically brunch. It has to be so omelette in a sandwich with cheese spread. With cheese spread, and some fruits. I eat that every single day. So essentially an egg sandwich. I'm a Muslim, but I'm confused why God isn't helping Palestinian people. If it is a test for them, as people say God is testing humans, then how many lives do we need to lose? It's a very good question. It's a question of ethics and morality, to be honest. And I wish we had the answer, genuinely. I wish we knew why, if there is a God, why he's letting so many lives just perish. Alrighty, I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then I have to go because I'm gonna be posting the animation for today and then make some food, I guess, or perhaps order food because I think it's a bit late for cooking now. Very hungry. I said breakfast / lunch because some people skip. Yeah. I personally skip breakfast, so I understand why you asked that. But yeah, so what they would call that is brunch. So a mix of brunch, breakfast and lunch. That's what they call it. But yeah, I mainly skip breakfast, mainly because I don't feel like eating anything in the morning. And I'm just working in the morning as well, so I don't really have the time to cook, you know? When's the next cooking stream? Oh, damn. I actually miss, oh goodness. I'll see if I can make a cooking stream in my schedule. I can't give you guarantees, but I'll work on something, because I actually miss doing a cooking stream as well. The last cooking stream we did was amazing, and the burgers came out well as well. Even though it wasn't smashed like I promised, it was still a nice, tasty burger. Let me see. Do you think that religion is necessary for life? I've been wanting to all this because of the two sides. I see my mother and my father and don't know what to do. I don't think it's necessary, but for obviously for religious people it is necessary. It's their way of living life, right? But I don't think it's necessary to an extent. Read the Bible and you will find your answers. I have read the Bible once. I'm planning on reading it again. I'm currently reading the Quran right now, but I'm going to be reading the Bible again. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Sage, before finishing the stream, can you give us a word for the day? What can I say? Let me think. This too shall pass. Wherever you're going through, it too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. And the pain that you're experiencing isn't going to last forever. Eventually, it's going to stop, and eventually you're going to experience better things. Or worse things. There goes my light. But yeah. 1 second. This too shall pass. That's what I'd say. I remind myself of that not every single day, but, you know, occasionally. When things go bad, I remind myself that this too shall pass. But yeah. I think there's ghosts in my room. Let me see. But anyways, guys, I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Do take care of yourselves. I'll be streaming again. Let me think. I'm not too sure. I have to check my schedule, but I want to aim for next week. Next week I should be live streaming. If not, then I'll see you another time, guys. Do take care of yourselves. It was a great live stream. I missed doing live streams, and I'm gonna do more of them, obviously. But yeah, take care. Have a nice day.